We continue to reflect on the life and times of struggle stalwart Frene Ginwala. She passed away on Thursday at the age of 90. You'll remember that Ginwala was the founding Speaker of South Africa's Democratic Parliament. She played a big role in the struggle against apartheid and was also a lawyer, academic and journalist. Let's reflect on her legacy with Good Party leader Patricia De Lille. Thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it. Perhaps just firstly, let's start off with your fondest memories of Frene Ginwala. I'm sure you have tons of interactions that you remember with her.
Oh yes, we were part of the group of members of parliament that arrived there in 1994, really being thrown into the deep end. And the first thing that Madam Speaker led was to look at the rules of Parliament. And if you really want to reflect on her achievements, you have to look at what we have inherited in 1994 and how she changed it to make it a people's parliament. She's done a lot, especially for women. As you know, up to 1974, there were no women in parliament. The first woman to join parliament was Helen Suzman in 1980. So even the facilities for women was absent. She also started a creche to help female women of parliament members to bring their children there. We changed the rules. One of the first rules was that when it's the opening of parliament, as women, we must all wear hats. And so really, I will fondly remember her for being very strict, but at the same time, very fair. Although I was the first member of parliament that she had suspended for 15 days, and thrown out of parliament, but I took Madam Speaker to court. Unfortunately, I won. And so really, she has done a lot. I don't think enough recognition has been given for the role that Dr. Ginwala played, not only in the struggle against apartheid, but also in our new democracy.
That's hectic, Patricia, when you say that she suspended you for 15 days and you took her to court. It speaks to what you said earlier on when you said she was very strict, but she was also fair.
Yes.
And I want us to maybe go a little bit deeper into that, especially because she was seen as somebody who fought against apartheid, which was obviously not easy because of the force that apartheid came with.
Yes. Well, definitely, because the rules of parliament at the time was not very clear. And the good thing that came out of the court case was the first test for freedom of speech in our country, where, in fact, the late Judge Ismail Mohammed of the Supreme Court of Appeal ruled that I must be reinstated. So, yes, we were all learning and learning very fast. She also had to preside over a parliament when we were doing the work of parliament. And at the same time, we had to write the final constitution because we said only an elected constituent assembly can write the final constitution. So we had dual roles to play. And she was involved in both processes. So she really played a major role, and we must thank her for her contribution to our democracy. And of course, my deepest condolences to her family and friends and her colleagues in the ANC.
I wanted to speak about, what happened in this country in 1994, the dreams and the plans for it to be a South Africa that is not one of poverty, inequality, unemployment. And if you look at the state of South Africa now, you wonder, what happened after 1994? What do you think her views would be of the state of South Africa now?
We have accepted since 1994 that the task of taking over the country and having attained our democracy that we had to do many things at the same time. We at first put the constitution in place, but we also had another task, that while we were in transition from an old order to a new order, we also had to transform the country. And she was very outspoken. I mean, she used to be very strict on holding ministers to account. She did not hesitate to report ministers to our late Tata Madiba. So she was very strong on accountability. And I think she's died at a time when our country is really going through a deep, deep, deep crisis. But I know that she has always had hope. We must never give up hope. She would have said that we have to continue to claim those rights in the Bill of Rights in our new constitution. And I'm sure when she passed on, she might have had strong views about the state of our country today.
Yes, and I mean, you touch on something so profound where you say, she wasn't afraid to call out ministers. And I wanted to lead into my next question that's not really about Frene Ginwala, but about the energy crisis that this country is facing at the moment.
Yes.
We are subjected to stage 6 rolling blackouts indefinitely. We've received no communication about when this is ever going to get better. Political parties have come out to say the country needs to mobilize. What is your view on this? What do you think needs to be done? Should the president come out and actually do something about this?
I do know, Heidi, that at 7 o'clock tonight, the president has convened a meeting with the leaders of all the opposition parties in parliament, which I will be attending shortly. The board of ESCOM will give us a briefing. And as part of the consultation process that the president has started around the energy crisis. So tonight, as the opposition parties and the leaders, we will be informed exactly what has happened in the past few days. I know the program of action, and obviously the president will give us a report tonight, a feedback on the implementation of the plans that he has announced in June of 2022. So that is where we are heading to in an hour or so to listen to the president.
So I hear you saying that you will be having this meeting with the president to listen to him. But Mr. De Lille, what do you think is what would you say would be your, comments to the president, to the ESCOM board about what needs to be done? Everything is affected by the constant rolling blackouts. We have no idea who's going to take over Andre de Ruyter in March, and South Africans are fed up. We now also need to pay almost 19% more for electricity come the 1st of April.
Well, definitely the point from the Good Party is that while we are putting all our attention, as it should be, on extra generation of new capacity, electricity capacity, the flip side, we also have to try and deal with the demand side. We do have to have a campaign whereby, and government must lead on this, to drive down the demand for electricity. And therefore, the project that the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure will be launching soon, or the tender that will go out, is to fit all government buildings, prisons and hospitals, with a photovoltaic, a PV, and also drive down water use within government buildings. So we have to look at the supply and the demand side. And from the good side, we are concerned that we are not doing enough as a country to mobilize our communities, civil society, the private sector, to see how we can also drive down the demand for electricity so that we can find a balance with the little that we have. So that is the point that we will raise tonight with the President.
Okay, great. Well, we wish you all the best, and we'll let you get to your meeting.
Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you so much for
Keep up
speaking
the
to
good
us.
work.
Thank you so much. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. We appreciate it. That's Good Party leader Patricia De Lille, and news.